Oh, now I do feel like a douche. Oh. Ah, shit. Holla ballers, what's going on? It is the Preacher, and we are looking at the Brewmaster. Yes, we are, and we are in the slag mines. Now, you're going to ask yourself, and kind of rightfully so, Preacher, why the fuck are we in an average 5-man for the tanking guide? Because you ain't going to die in here. Well, I'll have you know, during my test runs, hilariously, I discovered that the LFR, which is where I would usually jump in to demonstrate some stuff for you guys, hits way less than a normal 5-man. And I found it hard to believe as well, but it is in fact the truth. So in order to have some good survivability, this is actually the place to be to demonstrate some of those things, especially on the Brewmaster. So yeah, I know, right? I was kind of shocked too, but it is the way it is. So that's just the way life is at the moment. What are we going to show you then? Well, we're going to do some biggish pulls once our healer and whatnot catch up. Here they come. And what we're going to do is show you how the Brewmaster manages, so we're going to get into here, how the Brewmaster manages to deal with these scenarios. So there's a few things we're going to do here. One is we're going to get some big pulls on the go like this. Now you can see here I'm tracking my stagger. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do here is pop Zuwen as well. Now Zuwen's going to take a little bit of the fear off me, so I'm going to use Nimble Brew to break that fear. All these tools are things that make the Brewmaster pretty fantastic. So there's our first guard. So not over 300k, but not bad. So you can see I had a 6k stagger there. That is a great opportunity to purify that away, because a lot of that is going to go into there. So let's our next guard. Almost 300k. Not bad. Not bad, but you can see we've only got a 2k stagger. That's pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is shoot a charging ox wave through all of these, stun them. A lot of damage reduction going on there. And what I'm really trying to show you guys is that a lot of being a Brewmaster is not just going like, oh my god, guard's overpowered, I'm going to use that. Which I think a lot of people, more than would like to admit, fall into when they reroll a Brewmaster. They're like, oh, well, I heard guard's fucking amazing, so if I pop guard, I'm going to be just fine. No, you have to be making decisions based on guard, based on your elusive brew stacks, which we're generating through our auto-attack critical strikes. And what you can see here is that we came through all of these big pulls relatively unscathed. Yeah, we were in no real danger. There's a couple of dangerous moments that could have occurred to us were the fears, like this fear here, but we had things like Nimble Brew to break that, and therefore we're not going to take too much damage there. We popped some healthy guards. It's 300k, so there was at least 600k damage that occurred there that we never even saw. We just absorbed all that damage, and our healer came out full mana and absolutely fucking hunky-dory. Right? So very, very cool, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. So as we come into our boss here, I'm thinking, well, there's not some great opportunities for guards here. And every time you go into a fight, be it a raid boss, be it trash, whatever, you have to be thinking, is there something that could cause a big guard? What we do know is their ad's going to spawn. So what we do is we put our statue down, nice and central, where we want our miners to collect. Okay, we want our miners to kind of collect on the statue. And that's going to save us running around like an idiot, trying to pick them up, and they're just kind of naturally going to flow towards us, which is pretty awesome, right? It's pretty fucking awesome. See the way the Black Ops statue has gathered them up for us? Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Ooh, we've got a fucking nice warrior deeps. Oh, mercy. Have fucking mercy. Right. Let's go this way. I'd actually think this way is slower, if I'm being honest, but people just seem dedicated on going this way. But regardless. So those are the big things we look for a Brewmaster, is planning all this stuff out. As I said, because the Brewmaster is very popular right now, it's kind of annoying to see a lot of people re-roll it and then think to themselves, oh shit, I'm now overpowered. Right, so we've got a 6k stagger there. So we're just going to purify off 6k. Why take it? Then we're going to put up a 222k guard. And that's going to be nice and dandy there. So 4k stagger, I'm not worried about a 4k stagger. But what you will see, if I show you here, is that a lot of that guard is being chewed up, in fact, by that stagger. So I'm going to send out a charging ox wave there. It's going to give them the big stun. Now, what am I doing in terms of gameplay? All right, okay, so let's get through this. Pretty much, all I'm doing is keeping Keg Smash on cooldown, and then if I have extra energy for any reason, that's when I'm popping Jab. So it's really as simple as that. Beyond that, as the Brewmaster, you're just picking and choosing moments when it's okay to dump some chi on something that isn't ultra defensive. Now, most of the time, that is going to be something ultra defensive. So it's going to be stuff like guard and, of course, my elusive brew. Now, again, I want to point this out to a lot of people, is that you don't have to wait for 15 stacks of elusive brew. You never have to do that. So we've got a guard here. We had a 6k stagger, which is going to purify away. I'm going to come over here and redrop my statue here. Good statue management is fucking crucial, guys. Really crucial. Be aware of what your statue is doing. Bad statue management, which means that your statues, if I hadn't moved my statue there, you'd have been in that moment that you probably often see with fucking Brewmasters, where the ads are gathering, like, over here. You see my mouse? And you're like, fuck's sake, why aren't they gathering up so I can kill all these bastards? Why are you doing this? And it's just because of pure statue, bad statue management. So a classically dangerous pull. So I want to put my statue here. Yeah. I'm going to put my elusive brew there, just while everyone gets in position. Reactivate my Zen Sphere, which is what I'm using today. And there comes the fear. So I'm going to finish that off with a nimble brew, so I don't get absolutely gibbed. And you can see, because of my statue, which is an absolute bro, pop a guard here, purify off that stagger. And because of my statue, all these extra ads that you usually have to deal with as a tank, right? You have all the... Because usually your healer stands, like, over here. Like this. You see, like, the Sunta here. Usually people stand over there, and it's super fucking irritating, because what happens? Oh, lol. All the ads start spreading out over there. And the Brewmaster has the wonderful and glorious privilege, I might add, of never having to deal with that scenario at all. So we're going to pop Serenity here. And get our shuffle up to as much as we possibly can. So you can see we've got 30 seconds of shuffle already. Let's pop our dodge trinket. Let's gather this guy. What we're going to do is interrupt that Scorch and then bring that in here. And then we're going to taunt this guy over here. So what we have now is a great death ball of all the ads. Yeah, that's what we're aiming for, is just a wonderful death ball. All the ads all gathered up so everybody can cleave them and do all that kind of good shit. And you should be looking to do this. This occurs in every raid pretty much. Now... in terms of Guard and Zuen here, Zuen would actually be really annoying, because Zuen taunts these 5-man bosses, and I want them to come over here, because I want to create cleave scenarios next to this. As you can see, down it goes. And I want to keep control of the boss, is what I'm trying to say there. In terms of Guard, there's nothing really for me to guard here. In fact, I only have a 4k stagger right now, well, 5k, so if I pop a guard here, I'm getting 150k guard. It's just fucking ridiculously low. So you always have to pick and choose, is it worth guarding? Now, another argument to that could be said, for those of you a bit purist on your tanking, is that, yeah, but it's still 150k you're not taking. I totally agree with you, it is. It's just my general temptation is it worth doing that, or is it worth throwing out another blackout kick for extra damage? 150k to a reasonable healer, you know, it's not a lot over the amount of time it would take the mobs to actually chew through that. And essentially, I'd just be taking no damage. What I have noticed as well, which is something you should always be watching for, is I haven't noticed the healer doing any form of damage. And that's important, because if I just stop taking damage, I'm pretty sure the healer just won't do anything, right? Which is always the scenario, is the healer just won't do anything. So being a Brewmaster is very much about just managing expectations and just watching out for big damage. So let's talk about if we were in a reasonable raid, which I unfortunately at the moment can't get us into, which would be something where there's actually something dangerous going on. So statue down in the middle, make sure everything gathers up. So because it's actually really nice, your statue, when Keg Smash is on cooldown, because it doesn't matter. It's not like you've missed mobs, and you're not going to have to use something ridiculous like ooh, let's stun that. Don't want to get everybody feared. Something ridiculous like... what to say? Fuck these chain pulls? I don't understand. I don't understand. The warrior left because I was chain pulling? I'm so... I can't even express to you right now, guys, how confused I am. Why would we not chain pull this? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, anyway, that being said, onwards with what I was saying. It's all about managing expectations. So Guard, as we said, Guard is pretty powerful. I've talked about it a few times. And it is very, very powerful. Which means you have to respect its power and not be super wasteful with it, and not try and just throw it out because it's off cooldown. Usually with a lot of tanking things, use a touch of death there just to clear this trash out a little bit faster, is... usually with very powerful things, that you don't like sitting on them while they're on cooldown. Like, if it was a warrior, if you were sat on, say, shield block, like 2 charges of shield block, I'd be like, you're being a noob right now. But you want to use those. The difference with Guard is it's very, very powerful. Yeah? It's very, very powerful. And that means that you don't want to be too... you can be choosy with it, because it also has a very long cooldown. Let's pop Serenity. Let's pop our dodge. Elusive Brew. We're sat on 15 stacks, might as well get rid of it, which is kind of the counter to what I was saying then. You can do that with Elusive Brew. Is that because it is super powerful and it has a long cooldown, you can afford to be a bit choosy with it, and I think that's important, is that you bear in mind that it is not, you know, it's not an active mitigation source, it just isn't. And if you treat it as such, you're probably going to end up in a bad way. And I don't want you guys to do that. So I'm going to pop a guard here, because the healer usually has a difficult time, so I think it's a fair point to do that. Purify off that 5k stagger, and off we go. So we're using all our tools here. Yeah? We're using all our tools. Some stuff I'm not using here is teleport, and of course Zen Med. Probably not a reason to use that. And I've got to be honest, my mind is completely blown now by the warrior leaving because we were chain pulling. I don't understand that. Maybe he was asking me something I didn't notice because I was speaking on video. That would make sense, actually. I should probably check that, because otherwise I'm just going to be super confused for the remainder of my life as to why that guy left, because the dungeon was going too fast, it feels like. I don't know. So let's Elks Wave those. Yeah, we got a 5k stagger there. That's a reasonable guard. That's going to give us a 260k guard. Purify off that stagger so it's not chewing through that guard. And there you can see, look at all the damage we mitigated there. And it gets used in a reasonable fashion. I actually prefer guards, and this being contrary to some people, I'm sure there'll be some discussion on this, and I'd like to see that, is I don't like guards that last a long time. I really don't. And I often feel that if I use a guard that just lasts for ages, then I've kind of goofed up in a sense. Because that means I'm just not taking damage for a really long period of time. And what I tend to find is that healers really stop paying attention to me. As a tank, I like taking regular damage. I do. Regular damage that's not important. But if you have a guard that lasts for like, you know, just its full duration, essentially, it's fucking crazy that how little everyone pays attention to you. Because they're like, oh, this tank can take no damage. And then suddenly, you used your guard at the wrong time, which meant you were taking all these little pieces of damage. You weren't taking any damage for a really long period of time. Let's get this guy into position, and then I'll zoo in. And we'll pop a Serenity for extra deeps. What happens is they start either getting bored and looking at other things, which is generally a thing that happens, or or they literally just give up, and they're like, oh, well, my tank takes immunities. Then suddenly you get hit by that big damage that you were supposed to be taking, and that can actually be, you know, a threat to you. Touch of death that. Get it out of the way. And that's when it all gets a little bit on the tricky side, because you're suddenly going to die. And then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, and blah, 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 blah. And basically what's happened is it's a common sense approach. You didn't take any damage. You didn't take any damage for a really long period of time. And then, let's see, why did that warrior leave? He said about chain pulls. What happens is you get in this weird moment where the damage that wasn't threatening, you ignored. Healers start ignoring you, and then suddenly you goofed up and, you know, and then suddenly you're going to die. Because you use your guard at the wrong time. It doesn't happen always. Oh, we lost the quest for the follower. Oh, now I do feel like a douche. Oh. Ah, shit. My bad. Yeah, that was me talking on the video. Didn't notice that. Bummer. Alright. Well, there you go, guys. The Brewmaster. I feel like a douche now. Probably loads of you noticed that as well. Sorry. So, apologies to that warrior if you ever see this video. My bad. Alright, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that helps with your Brewmaster and how to use all these things in your toolbox, because you have so fucking many of them. Alright, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.